Hi guys, Chris here, demonstrating Text Help, which is one of our newly improved apps. This is just a little demo tour. Text Help, Read and Write can be found inside the Chrome Web Store under PMHS, the button here. There are two extensions. One is for basically Chrome browser itself. This will work on web pages and on Google Documents. The other app is their PDF reader, which is their equivalent of Cami. So if you'd rather just learn one product versus learning two, you might want to go the text help route as opposed to also using Cami. But Cami, of course, is available per the email I sent earlier. So once you've come in and installed these programs, you'll see this icon on the top right-hand side, which is the little purple puzzle piece. I apologize for the recording on this. I'm using a webcam. I'm going to be showing some features that kind of conflict with Screencastify, so I had to record this separately. In any event, let me show you how it works. So the first application we'll find is just to be on a Google document, and the application launches from this puzzle piece guy up top here. If you don't see the puzzle piece, if you don't see the Read and Write extension, click on Google's little puzzle piece, and this will show you some of the different extensions that you can install. You can thumbtack those to your bar so they're always visible. But some of these features I'm going to show you, some of them I'm just going to explain very quickly because either they're not that great or they're not relevant or they're self-explanatory. So this first one here is called Check It. It just kind of adds another layer of almost like a Grammarly or the suggestions in Google Docs or Microsoft Word. So if you check that, it'll highlight and give you suggestions. I don't find they're that great. Next one is the prediction tool. I will show you this one. Some people will be happy about this. Some people will be mad. But the prediction tool works by trying to predict what you're going to say. So you can see I haven't even started yet, and it's giving me some suggestions. So I theoretically could start the first
thing.
So I could do that way, or I could start typing in words like, banana, and it's going to know what it is I'm trying to say. And I can select
banana.
those. Again, depending on your perspective, this is awesome or this is terrible, but that's just be aware that it's there. Let's turn that off. Next, you have a dictionary. If you don't know what a word means and you highlight it, it'll look it up for you. Okay. It also has a picture dictionary. For some students, that might be useful. For others, not so much. You can, this is probably a little more useful, have it read to you. This is a function that's built into the Chrome OS, but it's nice to have this for students as a menu option. You don't have to dig around in the options to find it.
Be safe. Be safe. Remember to think about FERPA. Does the site or service ask you to...
So I can pause that. I can stop it entirely. The screenshot reader is currently not available. If you need it, let me know. But basically just lets you highlight and select a section of, like, say, a web page and have it read. I haven't run into the need for it yet. Audio Maker is kind of cool. If you highlight a block of text on anything and then click this button, it will read the text and convert it into an MP3 file that will appear in your drive. You could bring this with you someplace. You can click on it and listen to it later.
Remember to think about FERPA. Does the site or service ask you to sign in?
Okay, so you got that option. This is just a Google search, so highlight a word and do a Google search. For those of you guys who have reading or students who've got kind of trouble reading online, the screen blocker helps you kind of focus and read specific things at a time and block out the rest of the noise. You can turn on this talk and type, which is just Google dictation. In fact, you'll see within the Google Doc, it just loads automatically. So this option is already in Word, but you can use this in a couple different places. All right, there is a translate tool. Sorry, foreign language teachers. I know this probably is not going to make you guys happy. I want you to be aware that it's in the product. You can have you or your students turn individual features on or off by going into the features and just turning them on and off here. All right. Next is there's a highlighter, which again, this is not necessarily a new product or anything like that. However, what you can do, which is kind of cool, is I could highlight a couple of words. Let's say all my new vocabulary that I need to learn is in yellow, and let's say that a question I've got is going to be in green. All my questions are in green, and blue is going to be like just maybe something I learned that was new. All right. What I can do is click this button that says Collect Highlights, and I can choose, do I want them all grouped by color? Do I only want to collect certain color highlights for now? Or do I want it just organized by how it appeared on the document, so in order from top to bottom? But I'll choose color because I was mentally assigning a color to different functions. When I click OK, it's going to generate a new doc in my drive that has all of those notes there. and it's going to tell me where those notes came from, what document, and actually link back to it. So this is kind of a way to take notes, or you can also do this to generate vocabulary. I'll show that real quick. So let's say I don't know what the word bleeding is. I'm just going to do this real quick here. Bleeding, if I click vocabulary, what it's going to do is, again, create a new document in Drive, where it's going to find the word. It's going to go ahead and look up the definition for me. It's going to give me a picture where it can, and it's going to give me a little section to type in some notes. So while I recommend doing notes by hand, it's been shown to kind of work better. Those tools aren't available to you. In addition to having it read out loud, I think one of the other features that people might make good use of is the audio note function. And so what you can do is, rather than trying to leave comments on a paper by typing them or using Screencastify to record everything, what I can do is highlight specific sections, maybe this one sentence, add an audio note, and just go ahead and say, hey, Timmy, nice try on this one, but your evidence doesn't really support your claim. Please go back and check paragraph 2. You're doing a great job, though. Keep at it. Right? And so our students tend to react better to our voices. It's easier for them to misinterpret our tone sometimes. For your claim, please go back and check. There it is. I can click insert. I find the first time I do this, it can sometimes take a little bit of time before this little rainbow loading bar goes away. But what it does do is it drops it in as a comment on the right-hand side. You can see I've done a couple of others here. And when you put your mouse over it, you can hit the play button. Hey, Timmy, nice try on this one. And the kid will be able to hear the same thing. The kids, if they install the Read&Write extension, will be able to leave voice notes back, either for each other as feedback or back to you. You'll note that it shows it as a link when I don't mouse over it. That is because if someone does not have the Read&Write extension, they'll still be able to click on that link and listen to the recording in a separate window. And then this practice reading aloud, we probably would not make good use of here at Prospect, but especially caseworkers, if you want to learn more, reach out to me. Okay. The next thing that's kind of good for is if I go into my Drive and I find a PDF document, I can open with and annotate on top of PDFs just like I can with Cami. The tools look very similar. And so what I can do is go up top here, and if I need to type in text, I can type in text. I can change the font size, make it larger, smaller, change the color. I can reposition it on the page. I can delete it real quick or just say, that's great, fine. There is a freehand tool, so if I need to draw or circle, annotate things, label things, I can do one of those kinds of guys right there. They have what's called the push pin, and so I can just leave specific comments that have a little push pin that you can go and look on afterwards. I can draw shapes on here, depending on what I'm trying to do. Change the color, erase these things afterwards if I want. All right, so I've got shapes, I've got drawing, I've got a push pin, I've got text. I can still utilize that screen reader as I'm reading that PDF document. I can go back and do the highlighting and vocabulary that I showed you before. Depending on how the document's been scanned, I might be able to get it to read to me. So if I click, let's see what it does.
2020-2021 payroll.
Yep, and so I can use that tool as well. The other piece that's kind of nice is I can highlight text. Hold on, I got to get out of here. I can highlight text, and just like with the Google documents, I can, got to get rid of the shape tool. I can highlight text, and I can leave audio notes. So just like in a Google Doc, this little window pops up that shows comments. So I can leave a comment directly on a Google document, or I can leave an audio note here. Maybe in a foreign language application, the kid is going to, say the words out loud. I know some of you guys have been using Cami for that, but otherwise you can, have kids mark up answers however you like, or you can leave feedback, etc. And just as before, you'll see a little rainbow bar, and then there it is, and you can go back and listen to various comments. Document, hey, this is a good job on this one, or right. So same idea. So again, this is kind of a Cami alternative. It doesn't have as many options, but for most of us, the text, the handwriting, and the audio note are going to be more than plenty.
So another great feature of Read&Write is that you can launch the application inside of a regular web page, and most of the same tools will come up as they did in the Google document. And so while prediction doesn't necessarily matter, I can do things like the hover speech. And
Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., amplified.
So I can have it read to me. I could turn on reading the whole page if I wanted to. the save audio for later. For some students who struggle with kind of concentrating on a page, we can use these screen tools to kind of keep track of what we're reading as we go. Screen blocker. You have the same highlighting tools as before. There's translation tools. Again, sorry, foreign language. But one thing that is added to web pages, which I think is pretty sweet, as you know, most of these sites that news related in particular that students might visit are just absolutely cluttered with junk, just junk, right? And so what we can do is we can click this button up top here, which will simplify the page. And it actually just gets right to the core of the article. And in this particular example, there really wasn't much to the article itself. Most of that page was garbage. And so let's see here. Let's try a different one. So if I click on that and go right ahead and pull open Read
and now
Write.
let's bring in ABC News.
Let's go ahead and pull open Read and Write. And let's simplify that page. All right, so here we go. It reduces that page down. What's nice about it, it's got a couple of other features that are useful. One is they do have the simplify button, which reduces the size of the article. I don't know what it uses to do that, like what algorithm it's doing to make that happen. And so I would use that with great caution. Experiment with it, but for high school students, I'd probably just leave it as is. But this feature is kind of nice. People can use this Discover tool. And once it's turned on, it lets things through. And what it tries to do is identify words that might be ones that someone might do a search for some confusion. And so if you want, what you can do is mouse over it, and it's going to give you information about that topic without you or the student leaving the page and just kind of getting onto a 12-tab business kind of a spree here, shopping spree, excuse me. And so, just nice little research tool built inside. It's still in its beta stage, so they're working on it. But three other features that might be nice for you guys. Whether it's because of vision issues or just eye fatigue, you can switch how a page is being displayed. Oh God, I don't know why that would work with anybody, but I think the white on black is kind of like what most apps are doing now, is a dark mode, which is nice. And what you can also do is change the font size or the font. So again, nice for vision issues, readability, etc. You can double space out if that makes it easier to read. All right, so these are all kind of nice things that help make web pages a little bit simpler to read. One final piece I do want to show you is if you plan on using Read and Write in your class and you want your students to read it, use it as well. Especially if you're going to use the PDF reader over something like Canby, is what you want to do is you want to come up to the extensions. And again, if yours is hidden underneath the puzzle piece, go find it and thumbtack it maybe. You're going to want to right-click on the PDF tool itself and go to Options. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that Open Web PDFs enable classroom notification. And I think this one's already going to be on by default, but make sure these are all on. Otherwise, you'll have some issues when you try and use it with Classroom. So just make sure those are on, and then once you've done it, you can go ahead and close those tabs. So that is the tour of Read and Write. If you have any questions, please let me know.